So hello YouTube, back again with cuttlefish. So let's see how round 2 went, shall we? I've tried to make this bit a bit deeper and a bit thicker on both sides. I've also made the air vents a lot thicker, so I might actually end up getting some silver cast up there as well. But hopefully this means my casting will work. Also the sprue is much deeper, and especially on this one, lots of air vents again. I've even put a mini air vent up there, although they might just cast the other side of that, I don't know, we'll have to see. It's a much bigger funnel, let's say, for it to go into. So I tried again, and as you can see I did miss the hole a little bit, but it was only a little bit, and it did go down, and it seems like it's gone down a bit further, but whether it's cast properly again, I don't know. Again, the cast is very warm all the way down, so let's see if all those extra air holes and that slightly thicker casting or the mould actually worked, shall we? So what I tried doing with this one, because it is quite cold outside again, because I am still outside, is I tried heating up this sand around it, around the cuttlefish, while I was melting the silver to try and keep this warmer, see if that would help as well. But I've cut it open, now let's see if I failed again. Oh, I can see burn marks coming up the air vent, and it's close. It was very, very close. So it almost worked. I'm not sure why it didn't do the rest. Whether I can salvage that at all, I'm not sure. I'm not sure why the air pocketed in there. As you can see, the heat started to come out, so whether the air vent's not quite thick enough, I don't know. And so there we have that. I'm not quite sure why it didn't work fully. It almost worked. Like I said, I don't know whether I need to make the air vents a bit even bigger, but as you can see in some of the places, they started to, just like there and a little nodule there, they started to actually go up the air vent, so maybe I need to make them a little thicker, and then I can cut them off. 6.5 grams seems to be roughly alright. So there's that side, and then this is the other side. As you can see, some of the air vent marks are in there, but I actually quite like the way this all looks. Like, it's like just so rough and raw almost. You can see the sort of textures you get from the cuttlefish. It's quite beautiful. I mean, maybe if these don't keep casting properly, I can keep casting them and then sort of chop bits out and replace them with other bits from casts that do work, and then it'll give it an even stranger look. So, taking a closer look at why I think this might not have worked is, one, maybe, I don't know if you can see on some of the air vents, like for instance this one, they get a bit thin towards the end, which might mean some of the air can't escape, and especially here, this one, oops, wrong one, this one got quite thin towards the end. This one's quite shallow, and there's a really awkward bend, there's like a really sharp angle there, but the amount of silver seems to be quite good. I don't quite know what I'd do with that knobby bit, whether I'd leave it on or take it off. I don't quite know if I want to melt this one down again, or like I say, try and, I don't know, stick something else in there as a little something, make it a bit different. I have to think about it, but what I've done is, with this one, hopefully you can see, I've tried to make all the air vents much wider and much clearer, especially towards the ends, and so they can just shift more air. And I've tried to avoid doing really sharp angles for the air to come out, so like here, I'm gonna try and nib that off a little bit, and the same there. So wish me luck for this one. It also has a much wider nozzle than this one, if you can see, so I'm hoping that means it will go in quicker and cast around before it cools down, rather than being bottlenecked quite so much. So let's hope that works as well. So I just finished casting my other mould. As you can see, the silver hasn't really bubbled or balled up on the top, which gives me slight hope that maybe I used just enough and it's actually flowed all in properly rather than sitting on the top getting funnel bottlenecked even. So it's still cracking and cooling down at the moment. I'm going to leave it a little bit longer and then I'll open it up and see what I've got, but I'm holding a bit more hope for this one. Also very hot all the way down, even off to the side, so I'm hoping that this one is the winner. And the reveal, this is where I could be either very happy or very sad. I think this one might have worked, but let's have a look-see. Oh, you're kidding me. I thought this one would have worked. I don't know why. I don't know why this one didn't cast there. It seems very funny, like maybe I didn't have enough silver so it didn't force its way, where is it? It didn't force its way in and down. It just went in a little bit and then this got all too cool too quickly. Maybe I needed more silver, but that's a bit annoying. But I'm almost there, guys, almost. Looks like all the air vents did their job. See the burning coming out of them, meaning heat's going up there. And it's good that I've now got the bottom bit cast. It's just a shame that that top bit didn't. Like I say, I could maybe cut a section out of the one that didn't work as well and pop it in there. Cut a bit out of this one, I don't know. I'll have to see. But we're getting there. So, casting attempt number 5, I do believe. As you can see, I'm going with my little gas bottle, but I'm not outside. There is outside. Hello, lawnmower. There is outside. That's where I was trying to do the casting. Now you can see how windy it is. Hopefully you can hear me a bit better. But I'm actually in the shed. Came up with a brilliant idea of just using barbecue to heat metal in. And I've got like this little stooly thing here, pour it into. But I've decided to do a couple of things different as well. Well, mainly one thing different. You've seen the mould, how different I made that. I'm going to try using the smaller nozzle just because I'm in a smaller place and probably a bit more ideal. I don't know, I'll see how it goes. But being in a slightly smaller place, I didn't want so much heat going out because that other flame was like just as big as the crucible. So there's that. But I've noticed there isn't the hook off the end of here, like that end, so I won't be able to sort of hang this. I'm going to actually have to like put it down once I've finished using it, which is a bit annoying. It'd be nicer if there was like some sort of little hook for it to just go boom, and I could just leave it there, you know, like let's grab this one. So like that one, you could just hang it, and obviously the weight of the torch would hold it, but yeah, it'd be quite nice to do that. But yeah, so there's that. I've got the got the bigger mold. It's got a much deeper cavity in there. Smaller nozzle, and in a shed to cut out all the wind from outside, hopefully. So I'll show you the result of attempt number 5, I think. Wish me luck. Oh, it's windy. I just poured it, however I really don't think this one's worked, and it was entirely my fault because I messed up the pour. It kind of went everywhere, and let's see, shall we? Maybe I'm wrong, but that's a lot of silver sitting on the top in some very funny ways, so I doubt it's worked. Here we go again. Like I said, I'm pretty sure this one hasn't worked because I did a very poor job of pouring the silver into the mould, but you never know. Yeah, look at that. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Oh well, let's try again. So attempt number 6. I pretty much did the same on the inside, but with this one to help with the pouring, I have possibly done the biggest sprue. So I don't know if that's maybe too big now, but I certainly can't miss that hole, and obviously you can see quite how thick side bits are now. And obviously I've got air vents, made them quite a bit thicker. So hopefully this one works, because I won't have to get it quite so neatly into a hole and just go and pour really quickly. So hopefully that helps. Let's have a look. So, shaky hand cam. I managed to do a much faster pour. Hopefully you can still see that is bright red. However, there's still a lot poking out the top, so I don't know if this one's worked. I mean, the pour was a lot quicker. Good. Yeah, there's just so much sitting on the top, so whether I put too much silver in, I don't know, but I hope this one's worked. But yeah, as you can see, it's gone black now. But that was red, so it's still really, really hot by the time I managed to grab my camera and film it, which means it didn't cool down quite so quick. There's no heat down, all the heat's up here, so I don't know if this one's worked either, but I guess we'll find out in a few seconds. Well, as you can see, number 6 didn't work at all. No idea why the bit in the middle didn't cast. It's all just collected in the top rather than flowing down. I mean, this is even worse than the other 2 I did, so I really don't know why this isn't working at the moment. Yeah, I don't really have a clue, to be honest. Unless I shouldn't be putting these vents in for the centre, because by the looks of it, that vented out and stopped that from coming, maybe? Maybe I don't need to vent the centre and just the sides, but it still doesn't really explain how that one got past that. I don't know. know. Maybe I'm putting too many vents in, but I guess I'm just going to have to grab another cuttlefish and have another go. Okay, so attempt number 7, doing something slightly different. Slightly smaller sprue, pour into, but still rather wide, because it needs to be wide enough so it doesn't just pour down one side, it needs to try and pour down both sides. That's why I make it so wide there. But I'm only putting vents on this side and not in that bit to make sure air's not being pushed in the direction of other bits of silver. So hopefully if I only put vents in one side, air will only vent out when it fills up there, then fills up out there, and it won't, like if I put vents in here, it won't push the silver away, if that makes sense. So like if there's silver trying to go down here and there's a vent out here, that will stop silver coming down this right hand side because the air will be shooting out. So hopefully this one will work. Attempt number 7, last attempt today because I've run out of cuttlefish again, so this one better work. So again, you can see bright red. However, there is still quite a lot on top. I don't know if you can see it as well. The cast is actually smoking this time, and that's not happened before. At least not while I was doing it in the shed. It might have done it outside, and as you can see, dulling down to a cherry red now. The mould hasn't smoked before, so I'm hoping that's a good sign, and hopefully this one's worked. If this one hasn't worked, I really don't know what what I'm doing or gonna do, but let's give it a few minutes, cool down, and then I'll come and have a look at it. Nice and cool. Let's see if I finally managed to crack it. No. And so, after a lot of angry words and grumpy times, I now don't understand why there's like balls of silver getting on of the way around the cast, but not all the way, and then they're sort of by themselves. I don't understand how they separate from the main blob of silver. I thought I was changing the molds for the better, but seems not, because for instance the two before, which I've still got, worked a lot better. Obviously they're almost there, but the last ones were just terrible. Like I say, I have no idea why they're not flowing into the mould. I don't know why the vent don't seem to be working. I've made them really thick now. Like before I was just using the thickness of a knife blade, for instance with these ones. So maybe that's why. Maybe I don't need such big vents. I really don't know. So yeah, I think I'm going to have to put cast buckles for these on hold for now until I can talk to somebody who knows more about casting than I do. I know this may be only my 5th or... I think there's 7 attempts now, something like that. You'd think I'd be getting somewhere. Like I thought I was with these ones, and then I was like, oh, okay, so I'll just make them a bit thicker again, you know, add some slightly thicker air vents, and all will be good. But apparently not. It's turned out even worse. Whether it's turned out worse because I was inside of a shed, but I thought that would actually help rather than hinder, you know, being out of the wind so much. Whether it's just because it's cold outside, maybe today's a little bit colder, even though I was in a shed. Maybe it's just too cold to be trying to do this outside. I don't know. Like I say, they almost worked, these ones, when I was outside in the cold and wind. So I thought at least negating the wind might help, but apparently not. These ones, as you can see, had much smaller funnels. I thought that would hinder it, because it would mean it would cool here quicker at the funnel and then cause everything to just overflow, but if anything, it seems like the thicker ones cool faster. I don't understand that. Unfortunately, I won't have them ready anytime soon, I don't think, unless one of you can help me. Anyone who knows more about casting in cuttlefish, maybe. Because I guess I could be carving these out of wax, but the problem is I like the process of doing it myself. I don't really want to just make a load of wax mold and then send them off and somebody else is doing them. I like the tactile feel of doing these myself, you know, pouring the silver myself, getting that texture of the cuttlefish on there. It's just something I like about doing it myself, but it's not working for me at the moment, and I don't know why anymore. Like, I've tried everything I thought it might be, but apparently not. So again, if you have any ideas on what I could be doing, I'd be grateful to know. Advice, tips, you know, what's been working for you if you do cuttlefish cast yourself. Am I missing something completely obvious that I've forgotten to do? I don't know. I feel like I must be. I just can't think of it right now. Like, I haven't been doing anything different between these type and the ones that really failed. I really don't know. I'm completely lost for words. I'm out of ideas. So if you could help me, that would be brilliant. Leave your comments down below if you know, and I'd really appreciate it. And so hopefully this also gives people who don't make jewellery and everything can see sort of problems you can run into. Like, I didn't expect to still be not doing it by now. I thought maybe the first 3 attempts maybe would not work and then I'd slowly get into it, but if anything it's getting worse. So hopefully people out there, you can see it can go wrong, and the people who are out there who knows why it's going wrong can tell me why it's going wrong. That'd be fantastic. And it's probably another really long video, so I'll leave it there. Like I say, leave your comments down below and I'll see you next time. Sparks out. So in the end, I think that maybe some of the pieces were a bit too thin and it bottlenecked the silver, and that meant it cooled before it could flow through.